First, I want to wholeheartedly condemn the actions of the violent protesters Wednesday. They desecrated the People's House, left 3 bombs in Washington, and ultimately 4 people lost their lives. That was a truly sad day in American history. And to the peaceful protesters, including those here in Memphis, I get your frustration and anger. I was the only legislator who, in my private capacity, filed a lawsuit against all these mail in ballots because my boss at the Liberty Justice Center had the foresight before the election to see that many politicians were using the excuse of the coronavirus pandemic just to gin up turnout from their voters. Now, unfortunately, we lost that lawsuit. And while I vehemently disagree with the court's ruling, I do respect the rule of law. And like our president, I believe that America is a special place, blessed by God. But what makes America so great is that we believe in the rule of law and not the rule of man. So now's not the time to throw stones or cast blame over what happened in Washington. Now's the time for us to come together as a nation of all Americans and commit to what the president stated Wednesday night, that on January 20th, we will have a peaceful transfer of power. Now, we also have to protect the rule of law here in Shelby County. We had a record over 300 murders last year in Memphis. Violent crime is up almost 10%. We have police officers in Kroger, and even the city council says we're almost 500 officers short of our goal. And yet they still insist that officers live in the county. And they denied the people the opportunity to vote in November to change that policy. On Wednesday, I filed legislation statewide to support our first responders by allowing them to live where they want to live. This bill is supported by Chief Rawlings, Sheriff Bonner, and every Republican legislator in Shelby County. My House sponsor is from East Tennessee. Our police officers and firefighters are on the front lines for us fighting the coronavirus, and now is the time for us to give them our support and make this a statewide policy that they can live where they want to live. The legislature is also going to take an in-depth look this year into our laws on emergency powers. These are supposed to be temporary powers based on science and accountable to the people through elected officials. And my piece of that discussion is the education piece. Unelected health department directors should not be telling our students that when they can and cannot return to the classroom. So I plan to file legislation restoring this power to the people through their elected school board members. Finally, the way to protect our laws from changing is to put them into the state constitution. I'm very proud of my work passing the constitutional amendment to ban the state income tax. That's helped us be one of the fastest growing states economically in the nation. This year, I hope to pass an amendment putting our right to work into the state constitution. That law states that workers cannot be forced to pay union dues or fired for their decision whether or not to join a union. Our neighbor, Virginia, also passed this law back in 1947, but they're debating very seriously whether to repeal it. Putting the right to work into the state constitution will ensure that Tennessee workers are protected for future generations. It's the right thing to do. Thank you and Happy New Year.